Preparing a live stream. Oops. Oh, hang on, guys. I don't think I've done I'm going to take my share back off again. Up share. I don't think I could sound on. Let's go back here again. Hello, folks. Let's try this again. Here we go. Hey,
We're back.
back.
We're back.
There. Well, that didn't work too bad, except for the fact I didn't have the sound on for the music at the first, but that's always got to be something happening live. You know, that's the way live is, right?
That's right.
Accept it if you can't get accepted. Then
Live and local.
good evening, everybody, and welcome back to our Sunday night offering of astronomy edutainment, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show.
Yay!
Hey. We have two shows left after this one. My name is Chris Kerwin. I'm the creator. Only two shows until we come back to you again in September.
Right.
There we go. My name is Chris Kerwin. I'm the creator of the social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay. I'm also an amateur astronomer and a member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. A lot to say. Hey! I'd like to welcome back my two regular co-hosts this evening, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moonshadow Observatory in Beetle Hampton. Paul, good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory in St. John. Mike.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like to welcome all of you tonight from YouTube and Facebook land and everybody that's been joining us through the local Rogers TV network. Thank you so much for your support.
Yes.
Okay. So on tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, it is summer and it's the best of the stargazing seasons for most people. The comfortable temperatures, the evenings getting darker sooner. Yay!
Yes, sir.
It's also a time when many of us turn to public outreach to help educate and inspire those who wish to view the night sky as we do. Now, tonight's episode will focus on public outreach, what it means to offer it, how it can lead to a sense of wonder, and how it's important for those of us who can to share our equipment and our perspectives. We'll also we'll be looking at some past outreach events and what's planned for the near future. We'll also take a look at some special events coming up throughout the week here. And Lionel Bud will also be back tonight with another fine summer binocular target. Paul will deliver another amazing Rosanna's Fun Facts episode for us. And I'll have your photo submissions to share, as well as to look at what's coming up this week. Okay, so let's get started again, guys, with discussion around public outreach, some star parties, and some summer stargazing. What's that all involved?
Okay. Well, basically, before we get into any kind of an explanation and all that kind of stuff, for those who haven't been to a star party before, they happen all across the country. They happen all across the world, actually. And there's all kinds of places that you can get hooked into that will allow it, that will facilitate it rather. And for the most part, they're free. So all you got to do is pay for your camping that you're going to pay for anyway. But when it comes to the entertainment in the evening and the education that you get from these types of star parties that have been going on for many, many, many years, there's never a charge for that, and it's always free. And that makes it a lot more fun for everybody to come and just worry about the stars and nothing else. So I know with Mike and Chris, we've been kind of hanging around each other for quite a few years now
Long
at
years,
star
long
parties.
time.
And oh my gosh, I'm telling you, it is the best time we ever have is when we go to these star parties. And especially in our area, the Fun Day Stargaze, which is coming up on the 30th and 31st of August. And then sooner than that, Mount Carlton coming up on August the 9th and 10th in great at the Mount Carlton facility in Mount Carlton Provincial Park. So and that's the best skies that we have in our province. Now across Canada, there's a whole bunch of different places that have star parties, everywhere from here right on out to Victoria, BC. And so if you're not in our circle, and if you're watching from abroad, or if you're watching from a different part of the country, or even in the States, and if you want to see or attend a star party, just look up your local astronomy RASC member, or just rasc.ca, and they've got all of the star parties listed basically across the country. There's a list for those. In the United States, I'm not quite sure what they call it. I have to apologize that I don't remember what their thing is, but just type in United Star Party USA, and then you'll be immediately connected to facilities that'll go take you across that country. And if you're over in the UK or a place like that, it's the same thing. So it's easy enough to find out where you can get connected to a star party. If you've never attended one, or if you have, then you kind of know what to expect, because we kind of do primarily the same kind of things at each party. We try to make them fun and interesting, and hopefully they tend to be that way. So, but anyway, yeah, Mike and Chris and I, we've had some chuckles over the years,
Yeah.
because after we do the events and people kind of go back to the trailers and they take the kids back to whatever, then us astronomers who are basically facilitating the star parties, well, we stay up till at least till we see Pleiades.
Usually 7 o'clock or so in the morning. Yeah. We kind of watch Orion come up, I think, and that's
Yeah.
when
We see Pleiades come up, and then we see a little bit of Taurus.
Yeah.
Then we know that we're okay. Orion's just right around the corner. It's time to go to bed, get some shut eye.
Yeah.
This is on the Friday night, because Saturday morning we get together. We go down to whatever town we happen to be near and have our breakfast.
Yeah.
And do that. So that's a tradition.
I don't know about you guys, but I stay up until at least I start seeing sunlight so I can find my way back to my spot without tripping over everybody's gear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Anyway,
we're high on sugar anyway, because we've been eating brownies or chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, we always have a table full of cookies, and we've got the coffee going all night. Coffee does not stop.
Yeah.
And so that goes all night long, and we get to really sit back and enjoy. And lots of times we don't even go near the telescopes. We'll take some chairs and we'll just sit back and just watch the fireballs go by, and then we'll start looking at certain constellations and just do some naked eye stuff, and we'll just have our laser pointers and look at that over there, and then anyway, that kind of thing.
Oh, look, Paul's taking a picture. Out comes a laser pointer.
Well, actually, in some of the slides I'm going to show, you're going to see some of that stuff. That's fun. But anyway, that's the kind of thing that you do. So if you go as a volunteer to help out with the star parties, don't ever think it's like work, because it's not. It's you're going there, you're camping, you're bringing your telescope, you're excited about doing all that kind of stuff. But then when you get there, you have a field full of people with the same enthusiasm that you do about astronomy and about whatever gear you happen to have with you at the time. And it's the magic happens is when the lights go dim and all the people come out to the park. We do your first presentation to the people at the park, and then people start milling to the telescopes, and then that's when it really all takes place. That's where you hear the wows and the ohs and all the things that make it all worthwhile. And it's for a lot of people, this is their first time looking through a telescope. So it's just an experience that you have to do it. It's you and nature. We talked about this pre-show about how we need to get away from our phones and get away from our tablets and all of that stuff and just get back and just connect with nature. And this is one of the best ways to do that because it puts you out there. You're in the night sky. You can hear nature going on around you if you're near water. I know at Mount Carlton they have the loons that go and they call all night long. It's the most magical thing you'll ever hear. You're looking at the Milky Way, which can actually light up the ground enough that you can actually see a shadow. Like all the stuff you just don't see, and it's just all about that connection with nature. So when you're looking through a telescope, although it doesn't give you the color images, that you see online, people posting pictures, but what you do get is you get to look at where that is in the night sky. You get the photons that are coming through the telescope optics and into your eyes. So you're actually making a physical connection to whatever it is that you're looking at. And like I said, a lot of those things will look beautiful and glorious, and a lot of them won't look as beautiful or glorious. But the fact remains that you're looking at something and you're connecting with it the same way people did, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And so it's just a real thrill to be able to do that and make that connection. And I think with today's world, as much upheaval as there is in the world today, it's nice to be able to just unplug from all that craziness, get away from those things that we're drawn to 90% of our time, and get out there and really just get back to what we are as human beings on this earth, enjoying what's around us, right?
Exactly. You're talking about photons. I mean, and photons landing on your eyeball are really, they really are two kind of a cool things because first of all, that photon may have traveled for billions of years
Mhm.
from that location far off in the universe and ended up releasing its energy on your eyeball in that split second that you happen to be looking through. The other thing is that photons are individual for each of us. So when you look through the eyepiece and you're looking at the Andromeda Galaxy, you'll see a different view or different photons are landing on your eyeball than they are on mine. So it's a personal connection. That's your personal connection to the universe. Those photons travel for all that distance in case of Andromeda, 2.5 million years, just to release their energy on your eye because you happen to be looking through the eyepiece at that time. So don't waste the photons. Give them an opportunity to release their energy on your eyeball, and it creates that connection between you and what's out there. I mean, it's a very humbling hobby. I find the humility is very strong because you finally get into a star field like Paul has behind him there, and you realize that there's 300 to 400 billion stars in that one galaxy that we're looking at out of 2 trillion galaxies, and you feel how tiny you really are in that vast scheme of things. And the universe has a story to tell, and we're just a one little tiny page in this whole story. So it does bring you back to that type of thing. It's a contemplating time, I think. Not if you've had 24 cookies, but you might not be contemplating too much then. You're just
24 cookies and coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's all part of the same picture. I mean, and you're trying to share that passion with others that are coming to the eyepiece too. We've had people. I know the last time we went to Fundy, there was a couple people there that came down from Toronto, specifically for the Funny Star Party because they had heard about it online and they told us that they had only seen the Big Dipper, not even all the stars of the Big Dipper in Toronto where they were. And when they came to our location at Fundy, they were just in awe, almost crying basically because what they saw, just the overwhelming beauty of what was there, laid at your feet every night just for free. So then the next day they stayed for the solar observing. They stayed for the second night as well, but they went home happy as they had mentioned afterwards. So it's quite a thrill to see that kind of stuff. I mean, we're very lucky for where we are because we're in a part of the country where this is it's a natural resource, really. These dark skies, we should promote it as much as fishing or forestry or anything else, in my mind, because it is a draw, and it's a way for the province to make money, really, through tourism. And bringing people to dark sky sites like we have here. We're very fortunate. We have three, registered dark sky sites. Actually, four, I guess, if you want to count the Urban Nature Park as the first urban star park in Canada. So that really pulls people in as well. For that reason, I think we've had up to 1,000 people at some of our star party events in the weekend. And you've had all fog for
Yeah.
evenings. You usually have one night at a fun. That's it.
Well, that's where the Fun and Nebula was invented, actually.
That's right.
Exactly.
But they are an also, maybe some people can let us know here if you've been to any of these events locally anyway.
No, I kind of like the star party themes that sort of pop up unexpectedly, like rolling up the pant legs theme for that one weekend that we had.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Then we had the blue glove weekend.
Yeah.
These little themes that seem to pop up out of nowhere. Nobody knows what they're about, but everybody seems to get involved. So
Oh, so much fun.
A lot of, and everybody goes there relaxed, first of all.
Oh,
And
yeah.
even if you want to volunteer your time, it's a great spot. And you might think, no, I could never do that. But if you have the moon or you have Saturn or one of the planets up, that's a great start, and you don't need to know a lot about the moon to show somebody a view of the moon. You can talk about the moon, its phases, maybe how far away it is, what it's made out of, simple little things that you might look up on Wikipedia, before you go. A few little bullet points kind of thing that I call them. Saturn would be the same thing. People are interested in seeing the view, and you complement that with a couple of fast facts about that particular object. If it's Albireo or if it's the Andromeda Galaxy or Pleiades star cluster, whatever, you can get very comfortable after a while once you've shown that to a few people, because they're there. You've promoted their interest in that particular object.
Yeah. Well, they're there to be entertained by astronomy. That's why they're there in the first place. So there's nothing that you can't tell them that wouldn't be interesting to them. Because most people that come to your scope, most of them are just people who haven't been through a scope, or they're bringing their sons or daughters or families through, that kind of stuff. So yeah, never fear of volunteering, because you'll learn stuff.
Right.
And there's always someone on the field that can help you with it's just such a very communal thing.
That's another thing.
Behind me, that's that scene right there. That's the camaraderie that you experience.
If you come to the field and you find out, oh darn, I forgot my eyepieces. Something, you got a field full of people ready to, loan you an eyepiece for the weekend.
Oh yeah.
I forgot my counterweight. Next thing you know, you'll have more counterweights and you know what to go for. I've even put together for a guy, he forgot to bring, the what do you call it?
His dew shield.
No, well, that's one. But the mounting bar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just so happened to have one in my trailer that fit his mount, and we bolted it up to his scope, and away he went for the weekend. So, regardless, if you think, oh my gosh, I might forget something, don't worry about it, because I'll guarantee you there'll be 100 people there with all and more than willing to help you out to get through the weekend.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, in the shot behind me, you can see that there are those of all ages that are interested in the same thing. It's you're getting together with a community, basically, colleagues, if I can call it that, but a group that shares the same interests as you do.
Yeah.
That
was the people behind you are from the 2022 Fun Day Stargaze. That was the volunteer group. They're up there that weekend. So look at all those people and look at the looks on those faces. Every one of them are that's a genuine smile on every one of their faces, because they're just so darn happy to be there. So
except for the end there, he's looking at his phone.
I was taking the picture with my phone at the time.
There you go.
The picture after that when I'm actually looking up. So
oh, there's that's right. Yeah, the alien shirt. Okay, I see you on the end.
Here, I can share just quickly some different Star Party photographs. These are basically the group photographs from different Star Parties I've been to. I'm not going to put dates to them because I can't remember them all. But this is one on Nova East, and you go, wow, man, that was a pretty good crowd. And I forget where I is in that one. Oh, there's me up here in the corner.
So for those people who don't know Nova East, that's down in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, and this particular one, you can see this white thing standing straight up behind me. As it turns out, that was a ham radio antenna, and that was the weekend we talked to Dr. Thirsk as the ISS was flying overhead.
Oh, wow.
From the Star Party field. So that was a really cool thing that was set up for that particular Star Party. Again, here's another shot at Nova East when I first took my observatory trailer down. Good group, good party, good bunch of people. What they do is they always make a T-shirt down there for every different Star Party. And I think this one had to do with one of the hurricanes that's coming, because every time I went to Nova East, there was a hurricane. This was Mactaquac. When we used to go to Mactaquac, that was a really good crowd there.
Yep.
I mean, lots of people. Yeah, some people are new, some people you see again, and you just can't beat the crowds. I believe this one was another one from Mactaquac, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Yeah, it was.
And this is a fun day at our old. We teased because Santa Claus showed up. We never met this guy. He was from the States. And we nicknamed him Santa Claus for the weekend. Really super nice fella.
Yeah.
And he really enjoyed himself. And we were a very small group because the weather wasn't that great that year.
Yeah.
This is from Fun Day a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that was the year that they
COVID.
had the people from Land and Sea come and do the show on us.
That's correct. Yeah. And that was pre-COVID, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Way pre-COVID. Yeah.
Here's another one from, I think this is Mactaquac again.
Mactaquac, yeah.
When we used to go back and forth to Mactaquac, it was a good time. I remember we also had a water slide set up on that one the next day. We were having some fun watching some of the members trying to slide down the water slide. It was pretty funny. There's that shot that Chris has. Only some people are looking the other way, but I'm looking up. Yeah, and then back to Nova East. But that's just a few, the Star Party groups that I took pictures of while we were on these events. And I love to get everybody together. And you got to do it on a Saturday before supper, because once everybody eats, they scatter.
They scatter. Oh, yeah.
So if you come to the Star Party, be prepared. We're going to get your photograph just before supper.
First, or you don't get a meal. So
right.
That's right. Yeah. Couple of people on here. Derek says, if anyone has never done a Star Party, I did my first one 2 summers ago, and let me tell you, it was an amazing experience. And I and the whole family have been hooked and plan our vacation around it each year. Great stuff, Derek.
Right on.
Yeah.
Now Kim is asking, how is it do at Mount Carlton? The do is it can
well,
be.
Actually, I'm gonna cover Mount Carlton anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
So it depends on the weather, really. It could be good, it could be bad. So
be prepared. I mean, if you can bring along, you can actually. They have heaters out now that are 5 volt, right? That you can plug into a small battery, like one of the little battery banks, and they're large enough to fit around a 6-inch scope. So you can even come with something simple like that if you need to. Bring a hairdryer, 12-volt hairdryer. That works well. A dew shield, of course, is your first defense. But Mark is saying here, I'm using the YouTube version. He says, I'm working on my Starfest presentation as you guys talk. Hey, cool, Mark.
Awesome.
Starfest, awesome.
excellent.
Nice.
And there's Paul from the UK. Welcome, Paul.
I got to get up to Starfest.
Yeah, that's one that we'd love to get to. All of us, I guess. It's the big one of the Canadian ones, I believe.
It's not that far from my son's house up there, so I got to get up there. That's one on my bucket list.
Okay. Well, then what I'm going to do then, for the sake of time, is I'm going to go through that Mount Carlton. I'm going to have a little. It's a short few slides of a presentation I put together after the last Mount Carlton party, just to give you an idea what goes on during the party and the kind of people that are there and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to share my screen and see if we can't make that happen. Okay. So what are you seeing there now?
Yep, Mount Carlton 2022.
Perfect. Okay, just a sec here. I gotta get rid of this. Okay, good. Okay, so Mount Carlton 2022. So we had a small volunteer group on this one. Actually, there was a couple more people there, but they didn't all make it for the photo because, like Mike said, you get fed, you're gone.
Oh, yeah.
So from the highlands of north central New Brunswick lies the best dark skies in all, and this is a Star Party that's coming up, by the way, on August the 9th and 10th. So lies the best dark skies in all the national parks in New Brunswick. And this park has also bragging rights to being the largest park and is home to more wildlife species than any other park, or part rather, of the province. There are more than 42,000 acres to explore. Hiking is one of the main attractions of this park, with its twin mountain peaks, the highest in the province, actually. Mount Carlton with 2,690 feet high, which is 820 meters, and Mount Sagamuk with its impressive 2,589 feet. And you can actually climb those mountains in the daytime. People do it all the time. It's really cool. So Mount Carlton has the dark sky designation for the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, and it works hard to keeping those skies dark for all to enjoy. RASC NB has also hosted annual star parties there for a number of years, and the park also promotes the night sky activities year-round. This park is sought-out dark sky site for many amateur astronomers, as well as attracting a nearby observatory, which is actually in Quebec, as their skies here are actually darker than the observatory site itself they have in Quebec. So lots of times people will come over from that observatory just to get to some things they can't get as deep or something where they're at. Anyway, better skies. So this photo that you're seeing now is an image. I don't know if I can make this bigger a little bit. There we go. That's better. That's better. So many of the local astronomy club members look forward to the stargazing event each year, as it provides, especially this place, as it provides Bortle 1 skies. So if you see clouds at night here, they look like black holes in the sky, as there is no ground light to reflect up and scatter the light. When the Milky Way is out and the meridian, at the meridian rather, it will actually cast a shadow on the ground. I remember the first time seeing this, and it was like seeing Saturn's rings for the first time. What a thrill. As a matter of fact, I think it was, did I see it there? Yeah, it was there. It was there. I think it was with you, Chris.
Yeah.
Most of the camping sites offer no power, as this is a very remote location, and even cell service for the most part is non-existent or perfect for the stargazer. So if you want to get unplugged, this is the place to go to. Now, I'll get into some saving grace on that in a moment. We started off with our presentation around 9 o'clock. It's usually when it starts to get a little dark up there. And as we were wrapping up the presentation, the thin crescent moon appeared in the southern western sky. And as always, it was a crowd pleaser, and it didn't disappoint. So that's actually Richard Hashey looking through his reflector. And there's the thin crescent moon right on the very top of that tree. Awesome. So that was his setup there. And as you can see, there was people going up and looking into his telescope. And that's usually what we started off with if there's a moon in the sky. So there's a few more photos of what kind of goes on up there. A lot of people bring their Dobsonians. That's actually Trudy's there. And so a lot of people come through, and that was all looking at the moon. Mary King will be there again this year. And she's a RASC member. And she always works the tent. So we have all kinds of things that we give away at the tent, star finders and charts, and we're going to have this year. We're going to have the 2024 Night Sky Almanac to give away to most people up there as well. So Mary will be there looking after that, and that is her smiling because that's her personality. She just loves doing it. What you're seeing there is everybody gathering for the talk pre-observing. So before we go to observe, just before we get together and we actually do a slide presentation for everybody to see, so we can tell them what we're going to be looking at and that sort of thing. Now, as per usual, we had a great chef and his assistant prepared a gourmet meal that will go down in RASC NB history. The meat was just right, and the garnishes were light and delightful. The cutlery was the finest available. Oh, so good. It was the best hamburgers and hot dogs you ever had. Anyway, that's Yvonne Hashey and his wife, Sylvie, and they were cooking up a storm for us. We had an absolutely wonderful lunch. Now, as at night goes, we were talking about green laser pointers. As you can see, that's what that is people actually pointing their lasers up in the sky so that here on the ground, we're saying to you, look over here. And we can actually point, and almost looks like we're touching the star we want you to see. So at the peak of the night, it was so dark and so many naked eye objects that we had a ball showing the campers the awesome views of the constellations and all that they contain. Now, Mount Carlton National Park is a must-see, family-friendly, dark sky and wildlife resource. Oh, in the base of the mountains are these beautiful lakes, and they reflect all that's in the sky. So to be there at night with complete darkness and the sound of the loons, watching the Milky Way and the stars dance on the water is a moment most of us can only fantasize. And the loons calling at night caps off the most amazing night sky experience that will keep you coming back for more. And that's basically right down at the lake, at the sort of at the base of one of the mountains. That's the new lodge that you see over there. So for those people who need to get a hold of people on cell phones and stuff, they have a new lodge and you can go there and charge up your stuff, and then you can make calls from there because they've got Wi-Fi there, fresh coffee, all kinds of stuff. So this is a shot of the Milky Way over that lake. And as you can see in the lake, there's all kinds of stars just a shining. So if you're going up there to get a nice, beautiful vista shot, Mount Carlton does not disappoint. So what you saw there at that star party is basically the same thing that we do at all the star parties. So basically we get people up on Friday night. We do a presentation, then we do a night of observing, and then we stay up and have fun. Saturday morning, we get up, we do what we got to do for the day, and then we do solar observing, and then we also, for those star parties who are blessed with the people who can actually work on telescopes, we also do telescope clinics for people. They bring their telescopes in and we can show them how to set them up and give them an idea how to use your scopes. Because a lot of people will come to the sites with brand new telescopes they've never used before. So we help them out with that. So we do those things in the afternoon. Then we have our supper, as you can see there, our astronomer supper. And then after that, we repeat Friday night again. So we do another presentation. And then of course we do the public observing, and it's just an absolute, the weekend goes so quick because you're always doing something here. So you're never bored if you don't want to be. So that's kind of just a condensed version of what goes on at least the star parties that we host. And I've looked at a lot of star parties across the country. I go online, I look at them all the time, and it's pretty much the same for most of them because we're all there for the same reason, to make that connection with the sky and with people that are just really enthusiastic about it, like we are. So
now, there is one thing about the star parties. Our part of the event is free, but you must register at the park and you must pay for your campsite if you're going to stay at either park, or any of the parks that we offer outreach to. So in a place like Fundy, it usually sells out on the weekend that we're there. It has in the past a number of times. All three parks, 4 parks, I guess, had sold out completely before. And that's in this year. It's on Labor Day weekend, which takes us back to the Labor Day weekend again. A couple of years ago, we tried Labor Day weekend, but it was going to be there was going to be a big moon up. So this year there's no moon, or a very small moon, I think, setting early. So, but yeah, so you have to call the parks and make your arrangements for your reservations to stay at the park, and then our part of the event again is free. So. I do remember Mount Carlton, my first trip there. I remember outside with Emile Cormier at late at night, and he had star maps out, and I went over and I put my hand out in front of a star map, and I saw the shadow of my hand on his maps, on the star charts, and I looked up, and it was only the Milky Way above me. There was nothing else lighting up my hand. So I was blown away by that simple fact right there.
Yeah. Actually, we saw that at Cushwaquack as well.
Did you? Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got great skies too in Cushwaquack, and there is a one in Cushwaquack in September as well. A third.
They have one in the early spring.
Yeah,
and then they have one in fall. So there's another star party in September up at the Cushwaquack National Park. And did I say that right?
Yeah.
And I keep saying national. I don't know if it's national, but it's a provincial park anyway. And Yvonne Hashi is the fellow who looks after that one.
So if you want to, I'll quickly share that part, which is here. So if you're looking for information on the star parties, you can go to raskinb.ca, and there's a special part of the page there called Star Parties, and it'll list all the star party events that we have. This is the June 7th, 8th one, the Cushwaquack one that's already passed, of course. Mount Carlton, August 9th to 10th. Fundy Park, August 30th, 31st. Even though that is a long weekend, we don't stay for the third night. So we're there Friday night, Saturday night, and we leave Sunday. And that's, of course, to get ourselves back in some kind of a shape before we go, or when we come home. And then the Cushwaquack one, like Paul mentioned, is on September 6th and 7th. So That's the 4-star parties that are on our books anyway, right now.
Yeah.
I stopped sharing now, right there. Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Mike, you got some pictures to share quickly, or?
well, I was going to talk a little bit just not necessarily about star parties, but about outreach in general. So I'll just throw this over here, see if I can come up with something. Where's my share button? And pick a screen, this one. So we should be seeing what looks like the St. John Astronomy Club website. Can you see that, or?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. See it?
Yep.
And what happens here is if you normally it's on the home page, but if you go to outreach events and click on that, it brings you to this page, outreach events. We do a lot of outreach as well at the Irving Nature Park, which is over on the west side of St. John by St. Therese Beach. And, we do the observing at the Irving Bark Park. This is just stuff we do other than star parties for extra outreach to help people out. I believe this was uptown.
Queen Square.
Queen's
Solar
Square
viewing.
Market.
Yeah,
Queen Square
Right.
Sundays. Yeah.
that's what it was. Some nice dark skies. I mean, this one was when we were at Funny National Park. That was part of a star party. But scrolling down, this is at Rockwood Park when I think we were over by the dog park or the bark park or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Doing viewing that night. Lots of people, lots of crowds, lots of scopes showed up. Again, this is solar viewing.
Yeah, that was the
Solar eclipse.
partial eclipse.
Partial eclipse. Yeah.
Right, partial eclipse. That was as a Stonehammer Geopark or something.
No, that one was at Rockwood Park.
Okay,
Rockwood,
then again, we were doing the Irving Nature Park event. Look at the people that come to see, and this is just for viewing the sun, right? Like, it's unbelievable the crowds that we get, and it's so enjoyable. Again, here was another evening that we were over there getting ready. I forget what that one was, but we do so many. But I mean, look at the skies, even from the Irving Nature Park. Like it's been a nice dark. The moon was the brightest thing lighting everything up there, not lights from the city and whatnot. You know, Jim took a 360 shot. I don't know if it'll show up here very
Yeah. It's showing.
as I gaze around. That was taken early in the evening, but let me see if I can get up in the air. Look at the stars in the Milky Way from the edge of St. John with the moon up. You're still getting the Milky Way, and you're still getting some nice views. Like it's a great place. Awesome. Can't beat it. Let's see if I can get out of this. And other than that, we set up at St. Therese sometimes just on our own. We get a phone call. Hey, going to the beach? Yeah, let's go to the beach. And we set up on our own down at the beach and see who we can get to show up. And anybody that comes along wants to look at a telescope, we allow them to do that. These are nights we were down there. I think this is the night that Jenna showed up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen that many scopes. So I think the total was 18 or something like that. We're set up across the beach.
Yeah.
So that was a heck of a night just to put on a show for Jenna and show Chris some support for Astronomy by the Bay there. There's the old man setting up his scope at Rockwood Park. I think that's Rockwood Park. Yeah, somewhere in there. Anyway,
Oh, that's St. Martin's.
yeah, this is a St. John Astronomy. So it's a St. John Astronomy Club website. You go to it, click on Outreach Events, and you can see and read all about it.
So there's the scheduled events right there. The September 22nd,
Yeah.
October the 14th, and
October
21st.
21st.
Right.
Now, these are just set up for now. They could change. All depends on the weather, of course, and then we could add or subtract some from that depending on what's going on. So, how do I get into my Zoom? Let me get rid of this. There we are, Zoom, and I'll stop sharing once I find this again. Full screen. Stop sharing. There we go. No, that's share. Am I stop sharing?
No, you're still sharing.
Still on.
I hate this new Zoom. It's in a way.
It's done it to me too.
Can't
Go to
find
the
your way
page.
around the screen anymore.
The page that you're on, Mike,
Yeah.
it should pop up on that one at the bottom. That's what happened to me earlier.
Now let's leave meeting. Share. I don't want to share. When we get out.
Should pop up just above your Windows bar
Yeah.
on that same picture.
Maybe I'll have to pop out and pop back in.
Okay.
Give me if I end up knocking us out, I'll be back.
You won't, so shouldn't, okay. There he is, okay. Yeah, the new Zoom is a little bit complicated. Anyway, that's the Urban Nature Park. That's the first urban star park in Canada, registered urban star park. So it's urban star park, not the same as a dark sky reserve
Yeah,
as we have. But it's the skies still have to be met with certain regulations. I'll say to keep their designation of Star Park, they have to keep their lighting at a certain level. They have to be able to, all these different activities. Their lights have to be pointed down, all this kind of stuff. And if they don't meet those qualifications, then they could lose their designation. And there are people that travel from around the world to look at places like ours to say, well, where are the dark sky sites? Because that's where I want to go, and that's what they're registered for that reason, right? So that does help for them as well. But yeah, the Urban Nature Park has always been a great spot. The gates close at 8 p.m., but you can still go around the gate, I think, and walk up with a camera or a small scope if you wanted to be up there in that part of the sky. But we get a pretty good crowds from St. John in that area, St. John and surrounding area too, that come to visit us there. So a lot of it's based on the weather.
I'm back.
There you are.
all right, well, we should probably get into a buy no bud.
I think we should.
Oh, I get to share again. This is so much fun. You guys are
Anyway, hope all of you can join us at one of the events, either at the Urban Nature Park or at one of the 3 remaining Star Party events this year. We'd love to see you come out and share the sky with us.
Absolutely. All right, are we ready? Which screen am I looking for here? Let's see if it works on screen number 2.
There you go.
All righty. Binocular target of the week this week by No Bud is, and this one's kind of special because I didn't know about it until 2 days ago when Kurt sent me the this week's at a glance, and I came across a new binocular target to add to my list, and it's called the Cygnus smiley face. Believe it or not. If you watch my other Bino Buds, there's smiley face that shows up in Ariga in around M36 and M38. Well, this is going to be a smiley face. You can look up and see what binoculars in beautiful Cygnus. So this is a quote from Kurt. It says, one I read about in Sky and Telescope magazine a few years ago is a smiley face in the Cygnus swan. Scan with binoculars just below the swan's right western wing near the bright star in that wing and look for a pair of eyes above a semicircular grin of 5 stars. You'll probably smile back like Kurt Mason. So how do I find it in the sky? Well, at 2300 or 11 o'clock tonight, you go outside and look up, due east at 90 degrees, and you will see Cygnus the Swan. And you find that center star, or what looks like the cross, and instead of pointing your way down to head for the Veil Nebula, go to the other side, the much not looked at wing, I would say, in the Swan. And this second bright star right out, you look just down from that, and look, there's a smiley face right there. And we'll have a little closer look. What would it look like? This is exactly what it looks like if you took a photo of it, right? 2 eyes and a big smiley face. In 10 by 50 binoculars, look at the size of this thing, right? The 2 eyes and a great big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars that make the big smile. So you can't miss it. It does look like a smiley face. If you don't see it, you're not smiling. Compared to the full moon, got to be at least 4 moons in size. So an easy target to see in 10 by 50 binos. She's going to be virtually straight up at 11 o'clock at night. Get your binoculars out and look at a target that I just found out about 2 days ago. And I think that's quite exciting because I can't wait to get out on tonight if it's clear and have a look myself. And guess what? What did the doctor say to the rocket ship? Time to get your booster shot. Oh, I know.
Oh,
I think the little guy doing the dance thinks more of it than the rest of us do. And that's Binocular Target of the Week by No Bud.
well, there, that's guaranteed to get you smiling for sure.
Absolutely.
Kurt
Smiley
mentioned
faces.
here that the Nature Park dates that are up there are last year's dates, actually. So we'll have to update those, I guess.
Hold on.
Yeah, because one of them said a partial eclipse back in October. But we will we'll get those updated for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kurt.
Thanks, Kurt.
It sounds like you have a great outreach program. You do, Mark. It's well looked after, I think, in our part of the country. for our small area, for an area as small as we are, we have a
Well,
very active,
for those who don't know, as being as small as we are in New Brunswick, we're the only province that has, we used to have 5, but we still have 4 star parties.
Yes.
Most of them only have 1. So, so we're pretty active here.
Yeah.
And ours, we don't charge a fee for you to come. A lot of
Right.
star parties charge you a fee
Yeah,
just
they
to
do, yeah.
be part of the star party. So
Yeah.
Charge the astronomers, yeah, a fee.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, we don't charge for astronomers. Yeah, okay, we're ready for Rosanna's fun fact, I think.
All right. Let me get my screen to share one more time. And this is this week's.
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey, welcome back
Hey.
Rosanna, for another great fun fact. Now I'm going to get the picture up first that we're going to start with, so that I know I'm on the right track. Okay, so Rosanna writes, so she says, "Hi, Paul. Our time machine last stopped in Samarkand back in the 1400s. A quick question before we ready our machine for more travel. What fuel does a time machine run on? Plutonium, which is A, B, a clock, C, overindulgence in whiskey, D, hypnosis, E, unpentium, or all of the above, or perhaps just a director with an overactive imagination." So let's leave Ted and Bill where they are and zip to 1728, where, and I'm gonna see if I can find my picture. Hold on. I gotta shrink it down before I can move it. There we go. Okay, so the place called Sawai Singh Rajar of Jaipur has just dispatched his emissaries across the globe to gather the most accurate astronomical data possible. When they return, Ji Singh will order the construction of the Jantar Mantar, a monumental astronomical observatory constructed entirely out of stone and based on the astronomical tables of the French mathematician Philippe de la Hire. In all, Swaji Singh built a total of 5 observatories, with the largest being the lighter construction of the Jantar Mantar in his hometown of Jaipur. And that's it right there. That's pretty darn cool looking, I'd say. So among the stone instruments Jai Singh constructed was the Samrat Yantra, a 73-foot tall sundial, and though indistinguishable in design from other sundials of the day, it was far and away the most accurate. Its 2-second interval markings are more precise than even the Delahire's table. Now, let me just see if I have to shrink that down again before I can move it. There we go. So there's more of those things there. The smaller but older and pink version of the Jantar Mantar can be seen in New Delhi. And I'm going to show you that one. That's actually this one over here, but I'm going to show you another image of it. Oh. There we go. So at 89 feet in total, the Jantar Mantar in Jaipur is the 2nd largest sundial in the world. Where is the largest sundial? We have to travel almost 300 years to discover that. So let's travel 300 years. So we've traveled almost 300 years. On the southern end of Parc de Orient in Saragossa, Spain, stands the largest sundial in the world. The Raylo Solar Multicaja, man, Rosanna, Saragossa is a horizontal clock that is made up of a gnomon or gnomon, the piece at the center of the sundial that casts the shadow. This gnomon measures 46 meters or 151 feet long and reaches a height of more than 30 meters, 98 feet. It also includes a horizontal dial in the shape of an arc and is embedded in the surrounded pavement. Now let me just see if I can't go the other way, I guess. There we go. It was designed by civil engineer Juan Antonio Ross, who started working on the project in 2006. 2 years later, Zaragoza City Council approved the project and settled on a space in Parc de Orient. The gnomon was installed in the park in 2009, but the paved design that forms this dial was not completed until 2011. No one who works in that district has any excuse for being late on a sunny day. All right, it's incredible that all these years ago, they've developed solar-powered clocks, 1658. Although we have zipped forward to 2011, hang on, as we are about to invite whiplash as we return to the 7th century, as we screech to a stop, and you are here. Well, there we go. So, let me get down there. There we go. So the oldest astronomical observatory in Eastern Asia is what is now South Korea. Though the observatory's age, it dates back to the 7th century Silla Kingdom of modern-day South Korea, can serve to obscure the original purposes of its design. Some have claimed that there is numerical significance imbued with every brick, and that is this unit right here. That's a very interesting building. So Kimo Siande, which roughly translates to stargazing tower, is a cylindrical structure composed of 362 granite blocks, which some claim represents 362 days of the lunar year. In total, there are 27 circular layers of stones, a number believed to reference the 27th ruler of the Silla Kingdom, Queen Sunduk, during whose reign the observatory was built. This numbers, now let me just go to the next photo if I can. There we go. A little older looking there. So this numbers game continues further as a window is placed strategically with 12 layers of stones above 12 layers below, symbolizing the months of the year or the signs of the zodiac. And if that weren't enough symbolism for one small building, the four-sided base is also thought to represent the seasons. Oh, there we go. So this ends our summertime travels. I suspect many folks out there would like to borrow our time machine in the near future. Hold on now. There we go. Investments in retirement planning. Use your savings to build a time machine. You can afford to retire in 1950. And that's
Rosetta's Fun Fact.
Never thought of that. That's a great way to put your money, isn't it?
it was
Buy a
funny
time machine.
that last statement that you put in there. You have to go back in time to be able to afford today's living. I watched a movie called The Smalls or something like that, and it was about these people that we just couldn't afford to live anymore like we do now. So they shrink everybody down to about this big, and then they make the city that they all live in because it costs so much littler to live in that way. And I thought, geez, it's funny. So the other day I was getting my breakfast, and I grabbed a little plate like this, a little dessert plate, about that big, right? And I'm gonna put my toast on it, and Mrs. says, no, you got to have a plate that'll hold your toast. I said, hold on a minute. I said, that little plate there will look like a dinner plate with the size of the bread that I got now.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Inflation is true.
Yeah,
It's
very
true.
much.
Anyway, thank you,
Oh,
Roseanne, for that wonderful fun fact.
7th century. Imagine that. Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
very cool.
Yeah, that's a great idea though. Take a time machine, invest in it, or take your money, invest in a time machine, then go back in time. And
That's right. Go back to, I've got
I'll
some of
do
these
that.
old magazines from 1964 when you could buy a brand new car for less than $10,000.
I would go back with the winning lotto numbers from the highest
Last
winning
week.
lotto.
go back 2 days. That's all you need. All right, we're gonna go from there then to some photos quickly. It's getting late, so a second, I'll bring up what we got here. Don't have very many entries this week. I guess we had a lot of bad weather this past week, so really surprised to have any at all. But I went sneaking through people's pages and I found a few, so I'm not ashamed at all either. I'll pick them.
You creep.
We gotta entertain people. So
You post them, we steal them.
there you go. Okay, let me share my screen here. I'm gonna share this one. Okay, so we got this one first of all from Kathy Adams, the sun today. She said July 14th. That's today. You seen that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice shot, Kathy.
Yeah.
And there, look at that. She labeled all the sunspots for us as well.
Busy,
There you
busy,
go.
busy.
It's a busy one again. Yeah, 3738. I think that's the one that released the M-class flare today. And but there is no CME really expected from it, so no thoughts about Aurora yet. We have this nice big grouping though here, 3745, that's moving its way through, and it's getting larger. I mean, this group here is about 10 times the size of the Earth, so it'll take you 108 Earths lined up in a row to cover the disk of the sun in a horizontal plane like that. So if you can figure that 108 Earths, that's about 10 Earths right there. This 3745 is active with about C-class flares, but there's really nothing here. Most of them are stable, even though we have this much activity happening. But that doesn't mean that things are going to remain like that. Of course, we know that things can change very quickly. So here's our yellow view, our natural view, I guess. Thanks, Kathy.
Yes, sir.
David Samard. And David did this picture with a sea star. He loves the quality of the image without being processed. And that is kind of a neat little.
Nice sliver.
Yeah, nice little thin crescent, eh?
They're hard to get.
They are hard to get. Yeah. Nice stuff, David. Robert Gadet's capture. So I had this data from the solar surface back on May 31st. Stacked 25% of 2000 frames with auto stacker 4, processed with IMPPG and Photoshop using a Lunt 40 solar scope, ZWO ASI 174 planetary camera, frames captured with SharpCap Pro using the Seeing monitor. So cool. He does a great job on these sun shots.
Yeah, beautiful.
I gotta learn how he does that.
Details just amazing.
Although I just like sharing other people's pictures. I can't do it, so I don't care. I'm happy to share other people's pictures. Great job though, Robert. And there's another one he said, I forgot. I had this video, July 10th, sunspots 37, 37, 42, 44, 45, and 47, using a C-Star S50, 20% of 1,300 frames, stacked in auto stackered 4, finished processing in IMPPG and Photoshop. Great stuff. All right, go from there to Joey Craswell. C-Star on the roof, he says. If Google Maps can do it, then so can C-Star. There we
I
go.
was gonna say, my luck, I'd drive away and forget it was up there.
Yeah, I would for sure. No doubt about it. Hey, Joey. Mr. Owen.
Yes.
While on the river this morning, the sun was diffused by the fog long enough to show all the sunspot activity. Zoom in for a closer look, and we are going to zoom in. Nice capture, Paul.
So that was on a boat on the river, and with my camera in my hand, floating in a boat, and that's a single shot. And I liken that to if you're shooting through a smoke, from forest fires.
Yeah, right
There was enough diffusion in the little bit of cloud and the little bit of fog that was there to show me the disc, but yet it was defined enough that my camera could actually grab and get a really good focus on it.
Right.
And just a 500 millimeter lens, handheld, click, there you go.
Awesome. Nicely done.
But yeah, I couldn't believe all the sunspot activity, because I figured I'd just take a picture because it was a pretty picture to look at for the sun poking through the clouds. And I thought, hold it now, either my camera's dirty or there's something going on. So I zoomed in on it and said, oh, look at that, I'm going to shoot that. So anyway.
Awesome. Nice done. Nicely done.
Yeah. Thanks.
It's a handheld on the boat in the river.
Handheld in the boat. There you go.
With marmalade skies.
There you go. And Mr.
Tangerine
Martin,
guys.
Oh, nice.
handheld capture with some clouds today. I assume that was today, Mike?
Last night, I think.
Last night, yeah.
Before it clouded over. It was just like, I want to get a shot of something before it all goes
Yeah.
away.
No, I guess you beat it anyway. That's a good one. And of course, here's a reminder.
Yes, it'll clear soon.
Well, yeah,
Oh, look at that.
yeah,
Actually, you know what, Mike? You've had that shower cap on that scope for quite a few years.
you have.
I tell you, it's got the cleanest hair you ever seen.
Yeah. All right, let's take a real quick look at what's up this week coming up. Hang on, go back one more time. Here we are, Monday, July 15th and Tuesday, July 16th, Mars and Uranus. It's normally pretty difficult to spot the planet Uranus, but over the next couple of mornings, let Mars be your guide. Mars and Uranus will appear less than a degree apart, so that's less than 2 full moons widths over the next couple of mornings. So see if you can spot it from about 2 a.m. until just before sunrise. The Pleiades cluster will be nearby as well, so nice. And then actually the Hyades is down below that as well. So you've got an opportunity to pick out the planet Uranus. Binoculars will pick it up. Small scopes will pick it up too, but you have to know exactly where to look, and you've got a good opportunity there to catch it. So it'll be here tomorrow morning, and it'll be up in this area on Tuesday morning. So hanging out with Mars. Wednesday, the moon is going to be near Antares. Now, late Wednesday evening and on into Thursday morning, look for the look for the gibbous moon as it greets the red giant star Antares in Scorpius. Antares lies about 550 light years away from Earth, and it's a red supergiant star nearing the end of its life. Now, Antares is about 800 times the radius of our sun. Indeed, if we could put Antares where our sun is now, it would reach all the way out to the orbit of Mars and actually right into the asteroid belt. So quite a ways out there, but still a very beautiful target and really nice in binoculars and telescope both. So you've got the moon there to guide you along that path. Next up, I have Sunday. Next Sunday is the full buck moon. Sunday evening, full buck moon will rise in the east-southeast at 9:49 p.m. Atlantic time. The name full buck moon comes from the idea that antlers of male deer or bucks are in full growth mode at this time. So watch for moonrise next. Now, this isn't a super moon. I believe it's August, September, and October, November. I think those 4 are going to be the super moon months coming up. And you wanted to have a look at what's coming up throughout the month of July and August. You can always go to sjastronomy.ca or rascanb.ca. This is the calendar put out by Kurt Nason. This is about a 6-week coverage here, I guess. Looking ahead, we get the full moon here on next Sunday. Then we've got Mercury at its greatest eastern elongation. That means it's the farthest east in our sky that it can be in the evening sky. So should have an opportunity to pick up Mercury. Pluto is at opposition. We aren't going to get a chance to really see that one, I don't think, but it'll be out there. Moon rises near Saturn on the 24th. Then moving into third quarter moon on 27th, looking ahead, the South Delta Aquarids meteor shower peaks on the 30th. On Wednesday, this is kind of nice, 2 shadows on Jupiter. So 2 of the moons, Jupiter's Galilean moons will cast shadows on the planet from 0154 to 0344. And 2 transits take place from 0331 to 0519. So you'll see the transits going across the planet, and then the shadows get pulled behind them. So that's happening on the 31st. Work our way down through here. Mount Carlton Star Party, as Paul mentioned, on August 9th and 10th. The Perseus meteor shower comes in on the 11th. So we get a really busy, and it peaks on the 12th. So we get a really busy period here over the next few weeks for sure, right through till September. So you can go to sjastronomy.ca to download that calendar, or go to rascanb.ca is another place where you can get it. And we also have this calendar, Lisa's Lookup, Astronomy and More. You can find Lisa at Ruby Moonbeams on Instagram, X, Twitter, formerly Twitter, Mastodon, and Facebook, and now Threads as well. Lisa puts out this great chart every month. This one is for July. She lists the date of here's the event, and then the date of the event, and then she lists the peak times and the seeing tools, what you need, naked eye, binoculars, or a telescope. And you can find her Ruby Moonbeams on Instagram, X, Mastodon, and Facebook, and now on Threads. Thank you, Lisa. And if you have any images that you'd like to share, bring them in over the next couple of weeks, because we'd like to get them on the show before we take our summer break. Send them in to astronomybythebay@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to put them up on the next broadcast. That's it for those. Now, I need to do something else here. If I can get this popped up before properly. I'll go right here. I'll stop there. Go here and there, and there, and there. Okay. All right, I guess so. That's our show then for this evening. Reminder too that we do have 2 shows remaining before we return to our public outreach and our short break from this program. We will be returning in mid-September once everybody gets settled back into their school arrangements and back into normalcy. We hope you enjoyed the program tonight. Special thanks goes out to Rosanna once again for a fabulous fun fact. Rosanna, thank you very much. Always appreciate it. And to all those who share our program, Trudy shares it in 1,000 different places, I think, and whoever else does share it, we do appreciate that as well. Remember too, we do love getting your photos, so send them in to astronomybythebay@gmail.com. We'll be happy to share them on the next broadcast. And a special thanks again goes out to our friends at Rogers for joining us this evening. So until next week, wishing you all clear skies. As we like to say, guys, open your eyes to view the skies and keep your scopes pointed up. Good night, everybody, and thanks for joining us, and have a great week. Here somewhere. Here we are.
Wah, 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 wah.